Now let's go to productivity. How can you be productive as an individual? Right? And it's no time achun, energy achun. So the key to productivity is to manage our lives. Everything management has falligwal. So we talked about the father of marketing, Philip Kotler. We talked about the father of advertising, Rosa Reeves. Huh? And you know who the father of management is? Class beyond, you would have gotten 5 points. Too bad it's not a class. So the father of marketing is Peter Drucker. Right? Peter Drucker የሚባል ነው ማርኬቲንግ ማኔጅመንት ላይ ብዙ ፊሎሶፊ ያለው ግን he is the prominent figure. ማኔጅመንት ሁሉም ቦታ ውስጥ አለ። ቤታችን ውስጥ ሜሬጃችንን ማኔጅ ማድረግ አለብን። ልጆች ማኔጅ መደረግ አለባቸው። ሪሌሽንሺፕ ማኔጅመንት ይፈልጋል። ትምህርት ቤት you need to manage your studies. ስራ ቦታ you need to manage your work. Management is the key to life. So the question is, how do you manage? There are 4 key components. አራት ኮምፖነንቶች አሉ ማኔጅመንት ውስጥ። Right? Management is a process, a series of activities in a process ማለት ያ So አራት ኮምፖነንቶች አሉ የመጀመሪያው በጣም important, I'm sure you have heard this so many times, is planning. Management is the process of planning. እቅድ ማውጣት ያስፈልጋል ምንጊዜም. We have daily plan, weekly plan, monthly plan, quarterly plan, yearly plan. How about that? ከዛስ ምን አለ? Plan ካወጣን በኋላ we have to organize the resources required to execute that plan. እቅድ አወጣው ግን እቅዱን ለማሳካት የሚያስፈልገኝ ሪሶርስ ኦርጋናይዝ ካላረኩኝ then that's called a pipe dream. Pipe dream ማለት ምንድነው? በቃ ማይሳካ ህልም ማለት ነው። በቃ ዝም ብለን wishful thinking, yeah? So you plan, then you organize. Yeah? Organize ካረግን በኋላስ we implement. ያቀድነውን እንተገብራለን. Yeah? Execution or implementation, yeah? Which is all about taking action. Action is very important in life. ስለሱ እናወራለን። ብዙ ሰው perfectionist mindset ውስጥ ይገባል, which is very bad. You know, we think it's great, but it's very counterintuitive. በቃ ይሄ ነገር perfect ካልሆነ አልሰራውም ስትል, that's such a bad mindset. And usually we think it's good. ጥሩ ይመስለናል። በቃ ይሄ ነገር perfect ካልሆነ I don't want it. You know, let me tell you something, a very big secret. There's nothing perfect in this life. Nothing is perfect. So don't try to be perfect. Yeah. So we say, you know, religiously as Ethiopians, the only perfect is God. Perfection is our channel. So we make mistakes. And mistake is not a bad thing. Yeah. We'll try to go through that. So we plan, organize, implement. Last but not least, evaluate. Exactly. የሰራነውን መልሰን ሪቪው ማናረግ ከሆነ then how do you know your strengths and weakness? How do you know የቱ ጋር እንደተሳሳታችሁ? የሆነ ሴልስ ፒች አረጋችሁ ለካስተመር. You know what you should do? Reject ካረጋችሁ, you should be very friendly and be like, okay, thank you. I don't want you to buy this product, but tell me የቱ ጋር ነው, you know, what happened? Like እንድማርበት, what could I have done better? ሌላ ሰው አፕሮች ሳረግ ካላችሁ, what are you doing እዚህ ጋር? You're immediately receiving feedback. ወዲያው በቃ እና ያ ሰው genuine ከሆነ ይነግራቸዋል, actually, you know, በዚህ ምክንያት ነው ወይም actually it's just me, you know, you had a great speech አንዳንድ ጊዜ በጣም amazing ነውና actually ግን customer is not there. So where did I go wrong ብላችሁ, so evaluation is the 4th step. Evaluating ወይም controlling እንለዋለን። የሰራነው ነገር መልሰን we have to measure. In fact, Peter Drucker says, ምን ይላል? The father of management, what is not measured cannot be managed. አንድን ነገር ካለካ ነው, ምን ተሰርቷል ብለን ካለካ ነው, ማኔጅ ሊደረግ አይችልም. Measurement is the key to management. So it's a cycle, አይደል? ፕላን አልን, ኦርጋናይዝ አልን, ኢምፕሊመንት፣ ኮንትሮል ወይንም ኢቫሉዌት። ኮንትሮል ማለት ኢቫሉዌት፣ መልሰን በዛው ሳይክል እንሄዳለን ማለት። ኦኬ እዚህ ጋር ማስተካከል አለብኝ ብዬ ያንን ተሞክሮ ይዤ ወደ ምን እሄዳለሁ? እንደገና ወደ እቅድ ማውጣት, whether it's my monthly goal, daily goal, etc. ማለት ነው. Okay? So we defined management as what? The process of planning, organizing, implementing, and controlling. How can we manage our life? ምንድነው ትልቁ ችግር ላይፋችን ውስጥ? There are 3 things: time, energy and focus. In fact, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, who were once the 2 richest people in the world, what is the key to success አሏቸው? Bill Gates senior አለ አባቱም አለ, he's a billionaire, his father himself. But ሶስቱ ቁጭ ብለው እስቲ tell people what's the key to success ወረቀት ላይ ጻፉ አሏቸው። የሆነ ዲነር ተጠርተው just write one word to the key to success. What do you think they wrote? They wrote focus. Focus is the key. Focus ማን ላይ ነው የምናደርገው? Ourselves. So self-focus ነው። ብዙ ጊዜ I think we're all at one point አጋጥሞናል። በቃ ሌላ ሰው ላይ ነው የምናተኩረው፣ ሌላ ሀሳብ ላይ ነው፣ ሀሳባችን ይበታተናል። Oh, why does this person have this, that? No, you just focus on yourself. Self-focus is the key. Because if you do not focus, focusing is concentrating. Right? Concentrate ካላደረግን ራሳችን ላይ what happens? Our energy ማለት is the fuel for human beings. Right? Physical እና mental energy ያስፈልገናል. Right? We consume food to get energy, but at the same time, psychologically energy ያስፈልገናል. So you're familiar with vampires? Vampires ሲባል እነዚህ blood sucking የሆኑት አይደለም። Energy vampires የሚባሉ አሉ. Which are people, but very toxic, you know. Did you ever have a toxic friend? But ይመጣና ነገር ፍለጋ. And that's not good psychologically. That's not normal, by the way. If you have a friend and ሁሌ ነገር የሚፈልግ ከሆነ that's not a good friend. ለቀልድ ነው እያለም ቢሆን ማለት ነው. That's not normal. ከዛ አይነት ሰው you need to distance yourself because ኢነርጂያችሁን እየወሰደ ነው. So you're losing focus. You're wasting your time. So energy is very important. Energy ማለት መኪና ለመሄድ ነዳጅ ያስፈልጋል። ሰውም ለመንቀሳቀስ ምን ያስፈልጋል? Need energy. ለዛ እኮ ነው ስራ አልሰራ የሚለን እኮ ለዛ you know what to do but you don't do it. Why? You get distracted. Distraction ከየት ነው የሚመጣው? Due to lack of focus. You're not focusing. Your energy is everywhere. I used to be susceptible to that. በጣም እኔ እንትን ያደርገኝ ነው። መንገድ ላይ ሲሄድ የሆነ ሰው በቃ ridiculous የሆነ ነገር petty የሆነ ነገር በቃ ነገር ይሰራል። because I'm like, why does that person do that? But now I don't even care. So I don't want to spend my energy on that person. Right? የሆነ ሰው እንኳን ነገር ቢናገር ራሱ በቃ forget it. Energy is more valuable. ከአንድ ሰው ጋር ቆማችሁ የምትጨቃጨቁት አንደኛ it's not just your time, your energy drain ያደርጋችሁት እኮ ነው. And your focus is not there. So time as well. Time management is very important. So we'll talk about time management as well, okay? How do you manage your time? Yeah, the most valuable resource is time. You can never get back time. So you have to manage your time. Time በደንብ manage ማድረግ መቻል አለብን. So እነዚህ ናቸው ነው በቃ. You want to be productive? The simple answer is what? Be very conscious of your time. Be very conscious of energy. Be very conscious of your, that's it, Now, it's simple, but it's not easy, yeah? Yeah, simple is one thing, but easy is another. So, you are your environment. Marketing ውስጥ environment ለሁለት ነው የሚከፈለው. Internal እና external. Internal ምንለው ምንድነው? The organization is internal, right? Golden Sales and Training Institute. Internally, ራሱ ድርጅቱ ነው. Externally ደግሞ አለ. For example, you guys are part of the external environment. Customer is external. Yeah? So life and marketing are conceptually the same. That's why I love marketing. But marketing የምወደው ለምንድን ነው? It's really teaching you about life. በቃ ስለ life ነው በቃ ኮንሴፕቱን ካያችሁት በቃ it's exactly the same. On consumer behavior ሲባል you're just studying the people's behavior because consumer are people. Yeah? Brand ሲባል product brand አለው, but people also have what? They have brand. So it's very connected. So that's one of the reasons I love marketing. So internal environment ወደኛ ስንመጣ is what? እኛ ራሳችን ውስጣዊ environmentአችን ማለት our mind. Yeah? External ምንለው ደግሞ ምንድነው? Everything outside of our mind. አሁን ውጫዊ የሆኑትን ቫሪያብሎች can we control them? መቆጣጠር እንችላለን ወይ? We cannot. Again, can we control ourselves? We can control ourselves. So internal ምንጊዜም even in marketing ካያችሁት internal ካምፓኒው ራሱን ኮንትሮል ማድረግ ይችላል። በጀቱን፣ ምንም promotion, everything. But customerun, ሌሎች ነገሮችን they cannot control. What can we do? External environment actually. Control ሳይሆን we can influence it. Exactly. That's the key word. Influence. You know, in marketing, how do you influence consumer behavior ነው የሚባለው? እንዴት ነው ትሪገር የምታደርጓቸው ያን ፕሮዳክት እንዲገዙ? ስቲሙለስ ሪስፖንስ የምንለው ሳይኮሎጂካል ኮኔክሽን አለ። አንድ ፕሮዳክት እንዲገዙ you have to trigger them, which means you have to influence them. ስለዚህ ውጫዊ አካላችን ከኛ ውጭ ያለውን environment we cannot control it. We can only influence it and we can condition it. But ourselves we can control. We can control our decisions. So be aware of that now. ምን አይነት internal environment ውስጥ ነው ያለው? ቅድም ያለው ለምሳሌ focus, it's mine. Time, it's mine. Energy, it's mine. But people can try to influence it. አንዱ ነገረኛ መጥቶ የሆነ በቃ psychotic he's not controlling me again, he's trying to influence me. But that's up to me. I can try to control myself. I can try to focus now. ያ ነገር ከኔ ጋር ያያዝ ልል እችላለሁ. So we'll talk more about it, but you are responsible and in charge of your life. You are your own organization. Organization has internal and external. You have the same. Now let's come to probably the most important concept when it comes to personal value. ቅድም ስለ business value አውርተናል. Value ማለት business ውስጥ it's the perceived level of satisfaction created for the market. እሱ ነው። እሺ ወደኛ እንምጣ። እንደ ግለሰብ ምን አይነት value ነው የሚያስፈልገን? Have you heard of the term snack? You know, and the slang ነው. Oh, he's a snack, she's a snack ማለት ምንድን ነው? That person is very attractive ማለት ነው። እንደ ኢንፎርማል አነጋገር ነው. But what it means is skill. S stands for skill. N starts for network. A stands for attitude. C for communication. K for knowledge. So, እነዚህ ነገሮች ካላችሁ you're a snack. You're very what? Very attractive. Very attractive ናችሁ man. Skills ስንል I'm sure you know last week or ከዚህ በፊት ወስዳችሁታል skill ላይ what it means. I'll give you a very simple example. Yeah? እኔ ለምሳሌ I don't have a computer science background. I don't know anything about that. But what I did is I developed the skill of website development. I can make a website. ከየት ነው የተማርኩት ይሄንን skill? I just watch YouTube videos. I love to learn personally. So I just watch YouTube videos and I just write it down. Okay, this is how you make a website, etc. ብዬ ራሴን አስተማርኩኝ. Yeah? So I have what? I have the skill of developing a website. That makes me valuable. Yeah, skill, it makes me valuable. I actually commercialize that skill. Commercialize ማለት ምንድን ነው? ለገበያ አቀርባለሁ ያንን skill. Website develop ማድረግ እችላለሁ? I sell it. I sell a website for 50K. I make money. ግን ከየት መጣ ይሄ? I don't have a degree. I just developed the skill. So skill is very important. Language skill ለምሳሌ. Learning a language is very powerful. And as a hobby adapt ልታደርጉት ትችላላችሁ. It helps you, right? So ያ skill ምን ላይ ይጠቅመኛል? እንዴት commercialize አደርገዋለሁ? You know, you might not know right now. Eventually, good, you might be able to figure that out. Networking. Your network is your net worth, yeah? It is often said you are the average of 5 people that you surround yourself with. Who said that, by the way? You know? Yeah, Jim Rohn, yeah? You are the average of 5 people you surround with. You have to protect yourself. Warren Buffett የሚለውን ደግሞ he is probably one of the smartest person. Here it is. Huh? What does Warren Buffett say? He says ምንጊዜም ራሳችሁን associate የምታደርጉት ከእናንተ ከተሻለ ሰው ጋር መሆን መቻል አለበት. Because you're always learning, yeah? So that's what he says. በቃ እኔ አሶሺየት ማድረጋል even my wife አለ ከኔ የተሻለች ስለሆነች ያገባሁታል that's not realistic አይደል ለሁሉም ሰው ከኔ የተሻለ ባልና ሚስት ቢል ያው ኢኳሊቲ የለም right is disrupt ግን that's what he says it's like I married my wife ከኔ የተሻለች ስለሆነች I want so you should do that no it's like even in your marriage ስታገቡ ከናንተ የተሻለ ሰው ፈልጉ ነው people you surround yourself your friends ከኔ የተሻለ ሰው አጠገብ ኮንኩኝ I'm always learning yeah this positive no energy የተሻለ ነገር ነው ማየው ግን የቅድም ኮነስ you know toxic environment በቃ ኤነርጂ ምንድነው ኤነርጂ ዜሮ ከሆነ it doesn't matter 10 አመት ቢሰጡ you can't do anything በቃ ቺን ስራ 10 አመት ስራ ብትባል there is nothing you could do if you don't have energy if you don't have focus and associating with yourself with the right people elevates your energy and your focus so networking but I'm important no I'll tell you another reason why networking is important because human beings in social we're social beings በቃ ተነጥለን መኖር አንችልም በቃ we are part of a community a society a city yeah so እኔ አንድ ስራ ብጀምር if I start a business if I want to hire people the easiest thing for me to think of is what to think of my network right ብዙ ጊዜ የሚያውቀውን ሰው ነው የቀጠረው ምናምን of course I'll tell you the fact that is 100% true don't expect anything less ምንም ጥያቄ የለው እኔ ማውቀውን ሰው ነው በቃ oh that person I met እዛ ሚቲንግ ላይ oh she was very what ግን መቀጥረው በመሪት መሆን አለበት ነው right based on their value ማውቀውን ሰው ነው መቀጥረው ማላውቀውማ ያስፈራኛል አይደል that's why ካምፓኒዎች ማይቀጥሩት ለምንድን ነው ምን አይነት ሰው እንደሚገባ እኮ ያውቁም that person ምን አይነት ነገር ይዞ ነው የሚመጣው እኛ ጋር we don't know but if it's someone I know her potential I know how good she is ከኔ ጋር በየጊዜው follow up ታደርጋለች I'm going to call her and that's not wrong that's actually right so networking is very powerful አንድ እሱ ሁለት ደግሞ ይሄ ኮንሰፕት አለ which one do you think is more significant what you know or who you know huh? who you know okay what you know የሚል የለም yeah the answer is both yeah I'll tell you why because what you know no who you know opens doors for you አይደል አሁን እኔ ማውቀው ሰው opportunity ሰጣለሁ right ግን what you know enables you to walk through that door ሰው አውቃለሁ ብሎ ስራ ከተቀጠረ ምንም ነገር ማያውቅ ከሆነ ያ ሰውዬ ምንድነው yeah ስለዚህ በሜሪት ነው መቀጥረው ነው በዛ ሰው potential ነው so knowing people is very powerful yeah very powerful you should ግን you know ዝም ብሎ for the sake of knowing people መሆን የለበትም you have to you know you have to be good at small talk you have to be good so እሱ ወደ ምን ያመጣናል ወደ communication ያመጣናል okay which we'll get to but networking is very important who you know opens the doors for you and what you know enables you to walk through that door ሁለቱም important ነው በር ተከፍቶ ምንም አታከሆነ መሄድ አትችልም ሁለቱም very important attitude ቅድም ካልነው ጋር ከፐርሰፕሽን ጋር የተያዘ ነው how you perceive things አንድ ነገር happens like oh why does it happen to me ብለ ሁሌ frustrate የምታረግ ከሆነ we said you cannot control what your external environment you cannot control it you can influence it but I can control myself so ምን ልል እችላለሁ ለራሴ oh what can I learn from this mistake አድርጋለሁ ብላችሁ never think of that we're not perfect human beings we're never perfect we make mistakes the question is are you learning from it that's the only question and oh you had a bad job experience you had a bad relationship you had a business that fell apart so what are you going to do next what did I learn from it ሁልጊዜ there's this concept we call silver lining yeah you know silver lining ማለት ምንድን ነው the good and the bad የሆነ መጥፎ ሲቹዌሽን ውስጥ usually ምን አይጠፋም ነው አንድ ጥሩ ነገር አይጠፋም we call that silver lining የሆነ መጥፎ ነገር happen አደረገ actually I learned something from it that's the silver lining እንለዋለን ማለት ነው So attitude dictates your altitude, yeah? How high you go. Perception dictates your reality, your perception, how you think. What affects people is what? How they think things are. I'm sure you have heard of this story, but I'll briefly go through it. Have you heard about the story of the two brothers? ሁለት ወንድማማቾች ነበሩ። አንድ ላይ ነው ያደጉት. The same mom, the same dad. And አንደኛው, so what the story ኮንቴክስቱን ለመስጠት ያህል አባትየው very abusive ነው። በጣም ሚስቱን ይመታል፣ ልጆቹን ይመታል፣ ይሰክራል። በቃ በጣም አቢዩዝ ያደርጋቸዋል ሁለቱንም ልጆች the same way። ከዛ ሲያድጉ አንደኛው ምን ሆነ? He became this very successful kid. በጣም successful ሆነ። ሚስቱን በደንብ ትሪት ያደርጋል፣ ልጆቹን በደንብ he take cares of his family value አለው። He's respected by the community, ሰው ያከብረዋል። ሌላኛው ወንድም ደግሞ he became exactly like his father. እንደ አባቱ ቁጭ ሆነ። ምን ማለት ነው? በቃ ሚስቱን አቢዝ ያደርጋል፣ ልጆቹን አቢዝ ያደርጋል። So they were asked the same question. Why? ለምን? አንድ ላይ አድጋችሁ external environment ምን ነበረ? The same. But the internal was completely different. So አንደኛው ምን አለ? ሁለቱም actually they said it is because of my father አሉ። ለምን? Because of your father. አባቴ እንደዛ abusive ስለነበረ I told myself እኔ ሳድግ I don't want to be that. ለእኔ ቤተሰብ የምፈልገው ይሄን አይደለም። Of course በአባቴ ምክንያት ነው እንደዚህ አሳድጎኝ። What can you expect from me? ያደግኩት እንደዚህ ነው። ስለዚህ ምን ትጠብቃላችሁ? So you see the power of perception, the power of attitude, the power of internal and external environment. So attitudeአችሁን ምንጊዜ ማስተካከል. Attitude also dictates your energy. ቅድም ያለው ነገር መጥፎ attitude ካላችሁ ምንድን ነው? If you're a pessimist, አይደል ሁሌ በቃ fault finder. There are these people we call people that have a problem for every solution. You know those kind of people? Not a solution for every problem, a problem for every solution. በቃ ለሆነ ጥሩ አይዲያ አለኝ ስትል ይመጣና he just tries to. That's a pessimist, yeah? They have issues. So attitude is very important. Trust me. In anything you do, what can this experience teach me? ማለት ያለባችሁ እንጂ if you victimize yourself, you will become a victim. But if you become a victor in a situation, you will be the victor of that situation. So attitude, very important. Communication. Yeah? Communication, again, we can go back to Warren Buffett. By the way, Warren Buffett, I suggest you see a lot of his videos. He's not just an investor. He's not just the greatest investor of all time. But his mindset is insane. No, so I think they undermine that. They don't know that. So according to Warren Buffett, he said the most important skill is communication. Communication. So I want to apply to a university, ለምሳሌ I want to apply to a job. ደብዳቤ አጻጻፌ ራሱ ዲክቴት ያደርገዋል። የኔ GPA አይደለም ዲክቴት የሚያደርገው ያንን ነገር. The way I communicate with people. Communication is the number one valuable skill. ከሰው ጋር እንዴት ነው የምትግባቡት? አይደል? ቃላቶች እኮ they make an impact. ኔጌቲቭ ሊሆን ይችላል፣ ፖዚቲቭ. ሰው የሚትሳረክ hey you look amazing ስለው that's good energy. That's a good way of starting a conversation. How was your day? Communication is very powerful. As salespeople, you can't do without communication because we say selling is part of promotion. Promotion is communication. You are in the business of communicating. Not the communication, so you have to be masters in communication. Yeah? Small talk, how do you influence them? How do you, icebreaker, very important. So according to Warren Buffett, the number one skill you have to master, university it's your communication skill with people. The way you communicate. As salespeople, as I said, very important. And knowledge. Always learning more in terms of education. I'm sorry. Reading books, very important. I'm sorry, communication life, but important you on a textbook definition is, I'm sure you know it, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. In fact, Warren Buffett የሚሰራበት ቢዝነስ አለ ኦርጋናይዜሽን እሱን ነው የሚያስተምሩት they teach people how to communicate how to speak publicly public speaking የሚል መጽሐፍ ደግሞ አለው ዴል ካርኔጊ so you have to read books you want to learn more about sales read sales books right that's what Brian Tracy ያለው if you know I'm sure you have heard of him he was so bad at selling በቃ ሴልስ ላይ he was so bad as he said መጽሐፍ እንዳለ አላቅም ነበር አለ ስለ ሴልስ I started reading books on sales trust me life conceptually is the same የዛሬ 50 ዓመት የሸጡበት መንገድ እና አሁን ቴክኒኩ ነው እንጂ ኮንሴፕቱ አንድ ነው ቴክኒኩ ሶሻል ሚዲያ ሊሆን ይችላል ኮንሴፕቱ ግን is the same so ብዙ መጽሐፎች አሉ I'll be happy to share with you guys if you are interested ግን reading really expands your knowledge right so be a snack right skill, networking, attitude, communication, nanta, that's communication, and knowledge. So you have to be a snack. So now let's look at the power of benchmarking and shadowing. Never reinvent the wheel. ምን ማለት ነው? ለምሳሌ እኔ አንድ ቢዝነስ መጀመር ፈለኩ። ሬስቶራንት መክፈት ፈለኩኝ። ሬስቶራንት እንዴት ነው የምከፍተው ብዬ በራሴ ነው ከላይ እስከታች በቃ እንትን ምለው ኦኬ how do I ቴብሉ እንዴት ሴት ላድርገው ኪችኑን እንዴት ላዘጋጀው ዌተሮቹ እንዴት no I have to what ሬስቶራንት የከፈቱ there are millions of businesses online in person ሄጄ ምን ማድረግ አለብኝ I have to benchmark so benchmark ማለት አንድን ነገር ስታስቡ whatever it is there's someone else who has done it You can think of the most ridiculous idea. ያሰባችሁት እስቲ Google አድርጉት. It's already there. However ridiculous you think it is, someone has already done it. So never start from scratch now. Never reinvent the wheel ማለት በቃ እንደ አዲስ አንድ ነገር አትፍጠሩ. already ተፈጥሯል. ስለዚህ benchmark. ማን ሰርቶታል? Okay, I want to start a restaurant. I would say a bit golden. It's a bit inspired by Grant Cardone, አይደል? Yeah, in fact 10xum I think it's inspired so you don't have to reinvent it there are experts that have already developed that on Kaldis ካላችሁ Kaldis በማን ነው inspired ተደረገው Starbucks look they just ride አሁን እንዴት ነው እንደዚህ billions of ብር የሚሰሩት who inspired ride Uber አይደለ so you don't have to reinvent things መጀመሪያ ማን እየሰራ ነው who's doing a good job then you try to benchmark that business. ያንን ሞዴል ማድረግ. Right? We call that the best practice approach. So always try to do that. Whatever you want, try to do that. አሁን ለማጥናት ራሱ በትንሽ ነገር ብታዩት ፈተና ላይ ለማጥናት ብትሉ እንዴት ነው ማጠናው? You can Google that. You know? There's this technique called Pomodoro technique, you know? Pomodoro technique ማለት Pomodoro is Italian for tomato. So invent ያደረገው ሰውዬ tomato timer ነበር የተጠቀመው. It's a technique of studying how to be more productive. 25 ደቂቃ ያጠናል, takes 5-minute breaks. It really sustains your energy. As opposed to what? Straight 3 hours ማጥናት. It makes a huge difference. Already ተሞክሮ አለ ነው. Why would you try to figure things out if it's already figured out? እዛ ላይ ግን add ማድረግ ነው. Whatever you want to do. Shadowing ማለት ደግሞ very important. I wouldn't say everyone would get the opportunity, but having a mentor, someone you look up to. Role model ማለት ምንድነው? ሞዴል ማለት ያን ሰው እኮ ነው መሆን የምንፈልገው. So mentor is very powerful. Although it's, you know, ብዙ ጊዜ happen ላያደርግ ይችላል. ግን ኦንላይንም ሜንቶር ሊኖራችሁ ይችላል እኮ. You could watch YouTube and you could be like, oh, this person is my mentor. Right? For example, I love Warren Buffett. So I consider him my mentor. Obviously, but what? Through the internet, through watching YouTube. Yeah. People like Brian Tracy, Philip Kotler, Robert Kiyosaki. You know, you could have a mentor. You cannot say that. YouTube, everything. Online workshops, seminars, you can join that. So shadowing ማለት እሱ ነው. Following in the footstep of your mentor. Shadowing ማለት እሱ ነው. Just following in on their footsteps of your mentor. So that's also very, very powerful. Now let's talk about money. because it's very important. Huh? Now, what is money is the question. Money ምንድን ነው? እሺ money is power. So money is the medium of exchange of value and its value itself as well. አይደል? አሁን በብዙ ከረንሲ ኤክስቼንጅ ልታዩ ትችላላችሁ፣ ስቶክ ኤክስቼንጅ ልታዩ ትችላላችሁ፣ ኢንቨስትመንት ልታዩ ገንዘብ ራሱ ቫልዩ ነው። ግን not to complicate it, you could just simply define it as it's the medium of exchange of value. And value ብፈልግ I have to offer another value to him. ግን ምን ጊዜም according to Adam Smith, that doesn't work. ሁሉም ሰው value okay ይሄ ሸሚዝ አለኝ አንተ ይሄን ስጠኝ ቢል it doesn't work. So ምን ያስፈልጋል? የሆነ ሚዲየም ያስፈልጋል፣ measurable የሆነ። ስለዚህ ያቺ መሀል ላይ የመጣችው ናት ማለት ነው። ጎልድ ልንል እንችላለን። አሁን ላይ notes, right? Bank notes አለን. I give him that currency which is a medium and then he gives me the value I want. እኔ ያን ገንዘብ ከየት አመጣሁት? ሳትስፋይ ያደረኩት ካስተመር አለ፣ እሱም አሁን እኔን ሳትስፋይ ያደረገኝ ነው። So I'm paying him and then he wants to be satisfied, he pays that person. So it's a medium of exchange of value and its value itself, but simply በዛ መልክ ልናየው እንችላለን። It's a means to an end ማለት ነው። ገንዘብ ራሱ it's a means to, it's not the end goal, it's the means to an end. ያው power ነው ተብሏል money. That's true because there are different types of power. For example, reward power አለ, right? Coercive power አለ, referent power አለ, yeah? Legitimate power, charismatic power, which is the same as referent. Expertise power አለ. So reward ውስጥ ይገባል ገንዘብ, right? ለሆነ ሰው ገንዘብ ስሰጥ it is a power in the form of reward. በገንዘብ እየሸለምኩት ነው. So it makes me powerful. In fact, money is the most powerful tool. Tool now. It's not an end, it's a tool. Right? Now, why do we need money? Why are people obsessed with money? Money ምን ይሰጠናል? Usually, it gives us freedom. A lot of people aspire to be free. It gives you freedom. In fact, hey, movement አለ. Are you familiar with fire movement? Fire movement. Gen Zዎች በጣም ይጠቀሙታል. I think most of you are Gen Z, right? We're Gen Z. So fire ማለት ምን ማለት ነው? Financially independent, retired early. So these people that work remotely, ከባሊ ሆኖ ከኢንዶኔዥያ somewhere ሆኖ online ነው የሚሰሩት, right? They're called digital nomads. It gives them the freedom. Yeah. So people ultimately ገንዘብ ምንድነው ሊሰጠን የሚችለው ነው። ገንዘብ በጣም important ነው, but it's not the most important thing. Right? Money is important, but it's not the most important thing, according to Kiyosaki. Yeah? But it's very important. You want to do something, ገንዘብ ነው የትም ቦታ ብትሄድ, right? Very important. So that's what it can offer us. Fire የሚለው concept, financially independent, retired early የሚለው ብዙ ጊዜ people aspire for that kind of freedom. Now let's see, how do the rich become richer using money? ገንዘብ ተጠቅመው እንዴት ነው ይበልጥ ሀብት የሚያፈሩት? ገንዘብ አንድ ሩል አለ የገንዘብ if you want to make more money ገንዘቡ ምን ማድረግ መቻል አለበት? Yeah, which is known as, have you read The Richest Man in Babylon? I suggest you read it. Very powerful. What does it say? Money must have its own children. ይላል. Which is ገንዘብ መውለድ አለበት። That's how you become rich. You offer value to the market አይደለ? የሆነ ቢዝነስ አለኝ ገንዘብ ሳቲስፋይ አደረኩኝ, I get profit. ያን ፕሮፊት ቁጭ ማድረግ የለብኝም። ገንዘቡ ሁልጊዜ ምን ማድረግ አለበት? It has to reproduce, it has to multiply. So I should go invest it in some business. Right? So ገንዘብን መውለድ መቻል አለበት. That's how the rich become richer. It's not just by offering some service and satisfying. That money must be able to multiply. So that's how the rich become richer, and the power of money በዛ መልክ ማየት እንችላለን. According to Aristotle, we are what we repeatedly do. ደጋግመን የምንሰራው ነገር ነው እኛን አይደንቲቲያችን ክሬት የሚያደርገው. Do you remember the story of the hare and tortoise? የኤልዩ እና የጥንቸሉ ታሪክ። Now, what's the moral of that story? No, I think ሁላችሁም you are familiar with that story. Good. I don't think we really conceptualized the essence of that story. Moral of the story, አላገኘንም. At least I didn't when I was in prep. I just knew the story. Right? I didn't know what it was about. But what's the moral of the story? ይሄ ታሪክ ኤልዩ እንዴት አሸነፈ ጥንቸሉን? How did the hare beat, the tortoise beat the hare? Intensity versus consistency. ጥንቸል ምንድን ነው? Obviously, is very fast compared to, ግን ፍጥነቱን ምንድን ነው ያደረገው? በዛ ታሪክ ውስጥ ይሄዳል፣ ይቆማል፣ ሲሄድ ግን በጣም ይፈጥናል፣ ከዛ ይተኛል, whatever. But what did the tortoise do? ኤልዩ ምንድን ነው ያደረገው? Self-focused, consistent. ኤልዩ ምንድን ነበር? Consistency is key ነው. In whatever you do. On and off የምታደርጉት ከሆነ ምንም ነገር አይሳካም ነው. So whatever you do, consistency is greater than intensity. Right? አንድ ቀን እኔ I go to the gym, I work out very intense. I'm like, okay, I need a week break. ምል ከሆነ but በየቀኑ if I work out for 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, walk አደርጋለሁ, just a few push-ups, and if I do that every day for 3 months, what do you think will happen? Huge difference ይመጣል, yeah? So what's more significant? Consistency. አንድ ነገር ከጀመራችሁት you have to see it through, and ብዙ ጊዜ instant gratification እንፈልጋለን, which is በቃ ወዲያ ውጤት ማየት እንፈልጋለን, and that doesn't happen in most cases አይደል? You have to bear through it, and to bear through it there are 3 things you need: motivation, discipline, and ikigai. You know, anyone that could define ikigai? There's a book called Ikigai. Good. So ምንጊዜም give up ያደርጋል መሀል ላይ የሆነ መጽሐፍ ትጀምራ, you feel what? You feel distracted, you give up. So motivation constantly ያስፈልጋል. ሁለተኛ ግን discipline. በቃ አንድ ነገር I'll do it regardless ስንል I'm disciplined. And finally ikigai. Ikigai is Japanese for purpose or mission. Human beings need purpose, right? ተልእኮ ያስፈልጋቸዋል, mission ያስፈልጋቸዋል. If you have a mission, that is your driving force. So generally, motivation is temporary, ግን ይጠቅማል. Discipline is long term, and purpose is your identity. Why do you do that? You know, always ask why. የሚለው አይነት መጽሐፍ እንዳለው ማለት ነው, the purpose. So ikigai ይባላል in Japanese, very powerful. Kaizen is another Japanese terminology, which is what? Constantly bettering yourself, improving yourself. So ብዙ ኮንሰፕቶች አሉ. Hopefully maybe some other time where I'll just share this point with you guys. So motivation, discipline, and ikigai, very important to reach where you want to go. መሀል ላይ ማቆም ስትፈልጉ you must have motivation, you must have discipline, you must have a sense of purpose or mission. All right. So these are the core principles I believe are essential. ለማንኛውም ሰው self-respect ያስፈልጋል. People treat you how you let them. If you have no self-respect, people will not respect you. The way you treat yourself dictates how others treat you. Right? Any jokester ነኝ ያልክ, if you're going around, people are going to disrespect you. You have to demand respect by first having self-respect. Right? So ከራሱ ነው የሚጀምረው ነው. Everything ከራሱ ነው የሚጀምረው, ቅድም እንዳልነው. Because internal environment-ን ምንድነው የምናደርገው? Our internal, we control. Our external, we can influence. So self-focus, we have talked about it. Energyያችን ራሱ determine የሚያደርገው በfocus. Just focus on yourself. Don't focus on anything or anyone else. Self-belief. Seeing is believing ይባላል. Yeah? But actually, how about if a magician መጥቶ እዚህ ጋር ነገር ቢያደርግ, you believe that guy? He's showing you magic. It's a trick, yeah? Again, what's more important than seeing is believing, which is not always necessarily true. Believing is seeing. ከየት ነው believing የሚመጣው? ከራእይ. You have to have a vision. In fact, አንድ ነገር create ሲደረግ, it's created twice, which we call blueprinting. መጀመሪያ it's created in our mind and then we bring it to reality. So believing is seeing. You have to have self-belief. በራሳችሁ ማመን መቻል confidence ያስፈልጋል self-belief ያስፈልጋል A lot of people lack የሚያደርጉት ምንድን ነው confidence they lack confidence and believing in yourself because it's like religion አሁን religion ካያችሁት ምንድን ነው we don't see God but we believe in God we have a strong faith in God that's exactly how it is በቃ አንድ ነገር ልታዩት አይገባ መጀመሪያ you have to believe it then you can see it right this is again by Jim Rohn yeah you have to first believe it then you can bring it into reality okay so the mind and body is a temple ቀደም ያልነው ማለት ነው you control yourself don't let anything into your mind ማለትም የሌላ ሰው influence የሆነ ሰው አጋጥሞኝ very toxic የሆነ ነገር the mind is like a garden አይደል አይምሮአችን whatever you plant will grow negative የሆነ ነገር ውስጥ ከተከለን ምን ያድጋል negativity and it's very insidious ማለት ምንድነው ሳታውቁት ነው ያ ነገር የሚያድገው it's not so obvious ቀስ በቀን ነው በቃ መጥፎ ነገር ዛሬ ነገር ስናደርግ repetition it leads to that and the same thing ጥሩ ነገር ካደረግን ደግሞ it's very subtle ቀስ እያለ ነው የሚያድገው ያ ነገር the same way plant የሚያድግበት ባንዴ ያድግም አይደል plant it takes time so our mind is like a garden our mind is like a temple የተባለበት ለምንድን ነው maybe you have read The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari another book I would recommend you he expresses like a temple because he was a monk yeah story like at least it's a fictional story but ምንድን ነው temple ሁሌ ጽዱ እኮ ነው ምንም ቆሻሻ ነገር so አይምሮአችሁ ውስጥ ምን አትክተቱ ነው any negative thought ማንኛውም negative thought because ምን እየተከታፍ you're planting a seed ያ ነገር ያድጋል ነው don't do that ኢነርጂያችሁን ምን ያደርጋል it will destroy your energy that's why you can't do anything so your mind is a temple it's a garden whatever you think of እየተከላችሁ ነው seed so try to stay on guard at the gates of your mind የሆነ ነገር ካለ no I'm not going to entertain that thought because ሁሉ ነገር በthought ነው የሚጀምረው going back to think and grow rich ታሪኩ ምንድን ነው አስተሳሰባችሁ ነው እድገታችሁን ዲክቴት የሚያደርገው ነው you think and you grow the way you think really matters there are 3 key life values I want you guys to have we become what we think about ቀደም እንዳልነው ማለት ነው የምናስበው ነገር really grows seed in our mind so always forgive ምንጊዜም I think grudge is a very bad thing አይደለ in fact Nelson Mandela ምንድን ነው የሚለው holding a grudge is like drinking poison and wishing the other person dies እሱ ነው grudge ማለት እሱ ነው እልህ ይዞኝ ራስህን ነው የምትጎዳው ነው you shouldn't forgive for the other person you have to forgive ለራሳችሁ mental health ሰው ያጠፋል you forgive and you move on it doesn't mean you have to engage with that person it just means I forgive you in our case we say I forgive you for the sake of God yeah so ለዛ ሰው sake ሳይሆን በቃ and you move on ያ ነገር burden ነው relieve የሚያደርገው ካይምሯችሁ ነው so ለዛ ሰው ስትሉ ሳይሆን ለራሳችሁ ስትሉ you have to forgive anything and everything because ኢነርጂያችሁን ምን ያደርገው ያ you're drinking poison and you're wishing that person is dead but actually ማን እየተጎዳ ነው so for your sake not for that person's sake for your sake you have to forgive second one have no expectations from anyone ከሰው expect አታድርጉ right don't rely on people ለማለት ነው እዚህ ጋር don't confuse the expression be independent በቃ ያ ሰው deliver ሊያደርግ ይችላል as we said we cannot control the external environment so never have expectations from others just focus on yourself right because that's what you can control always give መስጠት giving is the beginning of receiving right so in fact 10x concept I think is very powerful 10x on religiously kayachutum we have a strong belief that whatever good you do you'll get at least 10 times yazan nagar 10x you know so giving and finally always be grateful we always have something to be grateful for as human beings የፈለገው ነገር ቢሆን ከኛ ስር ያለ ሰው አይጠፋም በጤና ሊሆን ይችላል በምን ሊሆን ይችላል so gratitude really elevates people. The more you're grateful, the more you'll build. So gratitude is very important. Thank you very much for listening. And yeah, thank you.